Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He is a triangle dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guest tonight is a young lady who made a big step and became a professional wrestler. And not only that, she is a graduate of the Nightmare Factory Class 6. That's right. We throwing up them threes like we from Boston, or we're not from Boston. Well, at least I'm not from Boston. Rob, Ryan, I don't know if y'all are from Boston, but she graduated from the Nightmare Factory Class 6. And you know we love our Nightmare Factory folks. Shout out to Diamond Sheik, the Renegade Team, Caleb Kennedy, Rocker, and the rest of the gang. Our guest tonight is not only the charge nurse, she is also the treasure hunter, Ryan Hawthorne.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for that introduction. Wonderful.
No problem, no problem. I try. But how are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Doing very well, very well. How are you guys doing?
Great, great. I just got home from work. I'm just, and I was excited to, interview another member of the Nightmare Factory. Y'all do splendid work down there. I'm always looking forward to the showcase, even though I'm a couple showcases behind. I haven't seen 4 yet.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to 5 afterwards too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 was just published like last week. So, yeah. And you're not too far behind. So, you're not too far behind. But yes, no, I'm very excited. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Very excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, so we always enjoy interviewing y'all because y'all got different stories. It was like, oh, you're supposed to be in this class, but then you had to put it off, but you made it to the next class and you graduated, or you didn't know where to go, so you went to Nightmare Factory and all that. There's just so many great stories you like to hear, and that's why we do what we do. So once again, I told you before we started the show, and I'm going to tell you now in front of everybody that's listening and watching, thank you. We really and truly do appreciate everybody, that takes time out to shoot the breeze with us, whether you just had one match and whether you had 1,000 matches. Ryan, I know you and I had this talk. I'm not going to put you on blast. I know you and I had this talk before when you were like, you felt that you weren't ready enough to be on our show. And I was like, this is for future reference for all y'all wrestlers, referees, and promoters out there. We don't care if you got one match. We don't care if you have 1,000 matches. The fact that, you go out there and you put on a show for us, we still want to hear from you. That's what matters. And to those of you that want to tell me I only had one match, I don't care. If we would interview a wrestler that's a second generation wrestler, or a third generation wrestler, or a wrestler that's hyped, making their debut match they're having their debut tonight, then why not the other person that's doing the same thing as well? Just that they don't have, all the hype and the fanfare behind them,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, everybody has to have a start somewhere. So the fact that you're so encouraging and give that platform even to people just starting out, wrestlers just starting out, that's awesome. So I'm super happy to be here, super appreciative. But yes, at first I was like, are you sure? You want me to get some more experience first? And you're like, no, come on in.
Come on, man. We don't care about that. Yeah. But I gotta ask you, Ryan, how did it start for you? What was the main event or the match, pay-per-view, or what was the time you saw that one relative watching wrestling and your curiosity was piqued? How did your fandom for professional wrestling start?
So my brother is 6 years older than me. And when I was younger, I would always watch wrestling with him. I was a huge fan of WCW Revenge, or NWO WCW Revenge for Nintendo 64 back in the day. That was my favorite. So growing up, I was a huge fan of Diamond Dallas Page, Macho Man Randy Savage. I was more of a WCW kid. And as time went on, I kind of, once he's lost interest, then I lost a little bit of interest. So it's just random enough. We were watching Glow on Netflix of all things, but I was like, man, I wonder what's going on in wrestling nowadays. So it was New Year's Eve, like as the clock struck midnight in 2018, we were watching like wrestling clips and stuff like that. And then it just kind of dawned on me. I used to always tell myself, like, I want to be an entertainer because, you know, you see, I would go to concerts and watch people perform music and I would get goosebumps. Or you leave a movie theater, especially like superhero movies, and you get goosebumps because you're like, wow, that was so good. So in my mind, I was like, I want to be an entertainer, but I don't know what my medium is. But once I found wrestling, it's like, it's not that I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be a storyteller. So, you know, when you go to a concert, those are people telling their stories through songs. When you see an artist, those are people telling their stories through paintings or writings. So for me, it's wrestling. That's how I can tell my story. My story begins in the ring, and the ring is the blank page where I write my story.
I don't mean to cut you there, Ryan. I apologize.
No, you're good.
This man here, I don't know if you know who that is. Brian, how are you doing tonight, sir? Great stuff you're doing. That is one of Mission Pro Wrestling's owners. Thunder Rosa's
husband. Yes.
So
yes. Nice to meet you, Brian. Awesome.
This is what I'm telling you right now. And I'm not trying to say nothing. I'm not trying to do nothing, but I only have a few matches or one match. Had you not done it today, you would not have had one of the heads of Mission Pro Wrestling saying he would have to keep a lookout for upcoming matches. So that's congratulations, awesome. Young lady. You have significant eyes watching you, waiting for you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for giving me the platform for this. Very nice to meet you, Brian, but that's awesome. Thank you so much for giving me this platform to share my story and helping me grow in my career. So yes, you are correct. If you don't have a start somewhere, that's how you grow. That's how you begin. So you're right.
So I sincerely apologize. I just had to put that out there, but go ahead. You were saying about the going to concerts and the entertainers tell their stories through song and.
Right. So it's like, well, so for me, wrestling is the way that I can be a storyteller. I can tell stories in the ring. So you kind of asked what was the one match or what kind of got me back into it? Well, 2018, when I got back into it in January, that's when they had the first Women's Royal Rumble. So the women's evolution was starting to happen more so. Sasha Banks has done so much for professional wrestling and WWE specifically when it comes to Hell in a Cell and Iron Man matches and things like that. So it was the perfect opportunity because growing up with it as a kid, you saw women's matches that were maybe 2 or 5 minutes long, but then getting back into it and seeing how much women's wrestling has grown. And I was just like, there's a spot for me here. I can, it's a way for, I can be the wrestler that when I was growing up, I didn't see somebody who looked like me on TV. So I never really thought it was a plausible thing. But then seeing the women's revolution happen and things like that, it's like, oh, there's a spot for me here. This is the platform I can use. I can, yeah. So it just really makes me excited. And I love wrestling. I can't even put into words. It's so crazy how I went so long without watching it, then got back into it. But now I can't imagine life without it.
That's awesome. So growing up, did you ever get to go to any of the WCW pay-per-views, or did you ever get to meet Randy Savage or Diamond Dallas Page in person?
Mm-hmm. No. My first time I ever actually got to see a wrestling match was in 2018. And it was a house show for WWE in Chicago in March. But yeah, no, growing up, I never saw it live. I only had seen it on TV, like ordering the pay-per-views on TV.
Awesome. That's cool. I'll tell you this from experience. It's always, I guess the right word would be surreal feeling to actually see those wrestlers that you grew up watching and you imitated and, that really like inspired you and so on. And I've been able to meet several, and man, I still get goosebumps when I think about they actually met one half of my first favorite tag team, the Rockers, Marty Jannetty. I was like, wow, like and I normally don't mark out. I'm that fan that's like, okay, they're there, I just try to keep it cool and just like, okay, Eric Redbeard's over there, or Cody Rhodes, one of your coaches is over there. Not disrespectful, but I try to, but like for Marty, it was just like the little 7-year-old boy just came out, and I was like, dude, you were awesome, man. You were Sean, and you were my favorite tag team, man. And man, yeah, it's always a great feeling.
Yeah, it's like meeting a living legend, like just somebody you've always looked up to. Yeah, no, I of course have met Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall through the Nightmare Factory, but like I would just be honored one day, so honored to meet Diamond Dallas Page, because of course, I would have also loved to meet Macho Man Randy Savage and Scott Hall before their passing, especially with Scott Hall. I really, really wish I had the opportunity to meet him. But yeah, I mean, that the way that you feel, that's like if I would had the chance to meet Diamond Dallas Page, would be like, you were so instrumental to not just me growing up, but the whole wrestling industry. So yes.
Yeah, it's funny.
Opportunities like that.
I've never met any members of the Clique. No, I've seen DDP in person. I've seen him in person, but I've never met. I don't think I've ever seen any of them in person either.
Gotcha.
But, hopefully I get to see them soon. Unfortunately, I won't get to see Scott Hall because unfortunately he passed away. But hopefully I get to see X-Pac and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash, in the near future.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got a question. Your coach, Cody Rhodes, he actually made his return to WWE. What was going through your mind when you saw Seth Rollins out there waiting for his opponent? And then you heard, I don't know what the right song is, but I guess I know it as Adrenaline in my soul. Mm-hmm. Adrenaline, the music playing. He comes down in the elevator and he makes his way to the ring to face Seth Rollins. What was going through your mind at the time?
It was just like another kind of thing. How I mentioned how going to concerts, you get goosebumps. It was another moment like that, just because the presentation of it, the way, they like set up this big stage for him. And of course, there's rumors of the time that like of course, like it's going to be Cody, things like that. But just the presentation of it, the lights going out, his emblem waving like as a flag and everything. It just, it felt right. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of kind of discourse in the wrestling community about it. But when that moment finally happened, it was like, this was meant to be, and Coach Cody has worked so hard. And also that's where he got his start. He grew up in WWE. I mean, that's where he got his start. That's where his dad worked and everything. So it just kind of felt like it really did kind of feel like a ceremonious kind of homecoming moment. And I could just sit there and smile as I watched him. It was really cool to see. And it was just awesome. Like I said before, just the presentation of it, the lights out, the pyro, him on his Cody Vader coming up, and things like that. Plus, it had been so long because his last match was in January with Sammy Guevara. So, it had been such a long time until seeing it, like, even though we might have seen him at practice, just seeing him on the stage in that form. So seeing that happen, it was really cool. It was really cool to see it. It made me happy. It was one of those ones that kind of gives you butterflies, because also too, working so close with Coach Cody, you can kind of envision yourself that way. It's like, okay, like somebody I know or somebody that I work with is doing this. One day it makes it more attainable for me to be like, okay, I can do this one day too. Maybe one day I could have kind of the same intro and things like that. So it was awesome to see it.
You'll get there. Just keep at it. You'll definitely get there. I'm speaking it to existence. You're going to get there.
Thank you. Keep working.
You're already training one of the best schools, in the world, not just country, in the world.
Yeah.
You're on your way there, and I'm that showcase, Student Showcase 6. We are looking forward to. I know Rob is going to watch it too. Kathy's going to watch it. Our other co-hosts couldn't be here, so yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yes. So speaking of the Nightmare Factory, so you're a fan. You're cheering your favorites and whatnot. How did your journey go from being a wrestling fan to now being the treasure hunter, the charge nurse, Ryan Hawthorne? How'd you end up in Nightmare Factory and all that?
So I got my start in professional wrestling actually back in 2018 when I got back into it. I had trained a little bit in Hamilton, Ohio with Cody Hawk, and he's awesome. I mean, he's also a very great wrestler, and he's a great teacher. He's trained so many great people. He's trained Dean Ambrose and things like that. So yes, the 5 Most Wanted. Yeah. So Cody Hawk is awesome. And training with him was great. But I would drive from Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I lived at the time, to Hamilton, Ohio. I would drive 3.5 hours down there, stay 2 nights, drive 3.5 hours back, then work night shift as a nurse. So it was just a lot. And it was just kind of like, it didn't make me lose passion for the sport itself. I just got tired myself doing it. And so I had not fallen out of love as wrestling. It was something I always wanted to do, but I was like, well, maybe I'm better as a fan. Maybe it's just best for me to kind of sit back and watch it. You know, I've tried it. I don't know if this is for me and things like that. But I'm very blessed for all the things I've learned from him. So then it was just, you know, I tried different things with nursing. So the charge nurse is real because I've been a nurse for 8 years, and nursing was never my passion. I don't take for granted the experiences I've had as a nurse. I worked as an ortho neurotrauma nurse where I worked with trauma patients after car accidents or gunshot wounds, with neuro patients after strokes, after traumatic brain injuries, with ortho patients, you know, who break their bones and stuff. So those units are very difficult to work in, but I don't take for granted all the experiences I've had helping people learn to walk again, helping as stroke victims learn to talk again. But nursing was just never my passion. So I lived in Indiana. I worked there for a nurse for 5 years. Then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, worked at Vanderbilt, worked in a neuro unit there. And then the last year of nursing that I've done, I've worked in the NICU with babies. So I've tried different areas and I've tried different specialties. I've tried different hospitals, but I'm just like, this isn't where my passion is. Like it's wrestling. And so it's one of those things where it's just like, because to go to the Nightmare Factory, I remember it was in November that I signed up for January's camp. And I thought it was like a far-fetched idea, but I was like, I need to quit my job because I've already tried working as a nurse and then traveling and doing training and then coming back and working as a nurse again. And I just exhausted myself. So I need to do something full time where I can commit all my time to taking this seriously. So yeah, I quit my job in January and then, or no, I put my 2 weeks notice in December and then signed up for the Nightmare Factory in November. And I ended up going to class there, but I'm just so grateful for the opportunity because, you know, looking at different wrestling schools and things like that, I was like, I want something that's at least 4 to 5 days a week where I can train, dedicate my time and my passion. And going there, it was beyond my wildest dreams. I mean, I was like, I hope they have a weight room. You know, I hope I can exercise, but they give you all the tools you need to succeed. It's kind of up to you what you do with it, but they give you the tools to a nutritionist. They give you the tools to having the exercise and weight class and strength and conditioning. And then you have wonderful wrestling teachers that teach you professional wrestling through and through. So yeah, it's been quite a journey of ups and downs, not knowing, like trying it, not knowing if I could do it, not knowing if I'd be able to get back into it, being a little bit nervous about getting back into it. But then, you know, finally saying it's taking a leap of faith and betting on yourself, betting on your dreams and betting on the fact that you can see your passion through. So yeah, for so long, like how I said, I found wrestling again in 2018. For so long, those years as a nurse, I didn't have a passion. And I didn't know what it was that I wanted to do. I knew it wasn't nursing, but I would get books on trying to find your dream, trying to find your passions. What are you meant to do? So I would try to find these different things to get me there, but I just did not know what my passion was. So once I found wrestling and once I started actively pursuing it, it was like, this is more than worth everything I've been through to get to this spot.
Awesome. And you actually, you took a bet on yourself. You bet on yourself and you actually won because now you graduated. And I mean, I heard that people have actually gone to that camp and dropped out in the early part, the mid part. They just couldn't deal with it at the time, but stuck through with it. And now you're actually in that class photo that I'm sure the Nightmare Factory has hung up somewhere. Class 6. You're in that photo with Cody and QT, Coach Ian, who I hope one day to get on the show, and Coach Glacier and the rest of the gang. And now, years later, people are gonna come through. And I always tell a lot of people, because you know, life is like I said, and look at me quoting Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. You know, right. Somebody might come in and see, oh snap, yo, that's Ryan Hawthorne. That's the WWE Women's Champion, or the AEW Women's Champion, or she just did a tour over in Japan, and she was all the rage over there. You know, you're stuck with it. And now you're an official graduate of the Nightmare Factory. So, you know, kudos on that. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
So now you did the showcase, Showcase 6, which is yet to air. I'm looking forward to it. What was you don't have to tell us about the match or anything, but because I know I'm gonna save that for y'all to watch on YouTube. It's gonna be on YouTube, right?
Correct. Yes.
So Showcase 6 is going to be on YouTube. All you got to pay is attention and your time. You don't have to pay no money. Just pay attention and your time. So check it out. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can ask Rob how the showcases are. I'll tell you right now, I love the showcases. I always look forward to them. And I always remember. I could give you a moment from every showcase that had me go, wow, they did not just do that. So check them out. But Showcase 6, what was your thought process going into Showcase 6? You don't have to tell us who you fought or who
Mhm.
your team with or anything. Like this, I'm gonna let them see that on YouTube. I'm not gonna give them
Right,
too much. But
right.
were you nervous? Or were you like, you know something? I got great trainers from one of the best schools, man. I got this. Or was it a mixture of both?
It was a feeling of, I remember the night before, and the day of it happening, I'm like, man, it's finally here. So it was a mixture of nervousness and also a mixture of excitement, but also like just I so many people in my class, like, they've, and just in general, the Nightmare Factory, so many people come from all over, from Ohio, from North Dakota, from Washington State, from Florida. So many people have put in that time and effort to come here and train for something that they're passionate about. So I mean, I just have so much respect and kudos for my classmates, for everybody in it. So there was definitely like excitement. There's definitely nervousness. My friends were in town. They kept saying like, "Are you nervous? Are you nervous?" And I was like, "I'm not nervous yet. We'll see when the day comes and things like that." But more so, it was just like, all right, like this is finally here. We've trained for this for so long, and now this moment's here. And I would say honestly, my excitement kind of trumped my nervousness. Of course, there's a level of nervousness, but I was just more excited. And I was excited to get out there for my friends who came to the showcase. I was excited to show them this side of me. With wrestling, it's not, you're able to be somebody else. You're able to put yourself in different positions and different lights and show a side of yourself that people don't always see. So I was excited for that too. I was excited to show them everything I've learned. But I won't give away who my partner was, or no, not my partner, my opponent. My opponent, I won't give away who my opponent was, but that also helped calm my nerves also, because I was in there with somebody who's very experienced and knows how to lead, and helped, we worked well together. But yeah, I would say there was a level of excitement, a level of nervousness. But when it came to it, I was just like, wow, it's finally here. Like it was, and then I got to like see other people's matches as well. Like after my match was done, I sat back and I watched other people, and it was just a joyous feeling. We've all worked so hard. Finally, we're here. It's one of those things that's kind of bittersweet, because it's like, we've all trained together for 12 weeks. And then now after this, like hopefully I see some of them again in the future, but it'll be rare that we're all in the same space again. So it was one of those bittersweet moments that's like, all right, we worked so hard, we trained, it's here. After it's over, I'll miss it. So while it's here and while it's about to happen, let me make the most of it now. Kind of one of those feelings like, all right, I'm going to make the most of it while I'm in the ring. I'm going to make the most of it while I'm still surrounded by my classmates and everything like that as well. So both nervousness and excitement, and just like kind of bittersweet feeling.
Wow, that's cool. I'm actually looking forward to Showcase 6. I'm gonna get up, like I said, I'm gonna get up with Showcase 4 and Showcase 5. I'm gonna watch those. Showcase 6, I'm definitely looking forward to as well. To those of y'all that want to know what kind of match she had or who she fought her, or even if she had a tag team partner and who they faced against, definitely you'll have to check it out for yourself. We're not gonna spoil anything. So y'all definitely, tune in. Make sure you follow Nightmare Factory on YouTube. Trust me, you will be entertained and satisfied. So, yeah. So since graduating, how have has wrestling been? Have you been like busy a lot, or has it been like taking a break, just trying to you know
Mm-hmm.
uh process the fact that you graduated Nightmare Factory, or
Mm-hmm.
has it
I
been
so
something?
I want to get back out there. I want to. I just, that match was just, it was so great. It was such like a fulfilling moment. But like, I'm not done. This is just the beginning. So I want to get out there, but at the same time, I want to learn more. So I still train like at the Nightmare Factory with their night class. I still train with them because I want to hone my skills. I know there's just so much more for me to learn. So part of their night class, like I just, I want to keep learning and keep growing and things like that. And then this weekend, I had a photo shoot with my friends. So we did a photo shoot together. And that way I can have more promotional pictures of myself to put out there, ways to present myself to different promotions and say, hey, this is who I am. I would love to wrestle for you. So yeah, right now it's kind of figuring that all out and getting started. But yeah, this is just the beginning. This is, still my main attention, still my main focus, and growing from here and saying, okay, what's next?
Oh man, Brian Rosa done took my my question, but hey, it's okay, Brian. Okay, so Brian Rosa, he wants to know any people you look forward to facing.
There's so many. Like I just, you see people or you see wrestlers on the indie scenes and then you see wrestlers on TV. So, on the indie scene, like I would love to face Kylan King. Now that Athena is back in the indies, I would love to face Athena. My goodness, that'd be so fun. But like on a bigger level, of course, like one day, like, I would love to face Britt Baker. I would love to face Thunder Rosa. But yeah, I mean, I would love to face Kayla Sparks. And then, so there's other wrestlers as well, like wrestlers that I've seen that have graduated from the Nightmare Factory, Shalance Royale, the Renegade Twins. I would love to face them, especially in a tag team match. I think that would just be so fun. So yeah, I want to, and also too during training as well, you might face other people and you might be like, oh, we don't vibe well. We don't, like we might not be on the same connection or the same wave. Like I wrestle with this person a little bit better, but in order to be a great wrestler, you have to be able to wrestle anybody, every style, every type of wrestler out there. So I want to wrestle the world. I want to wrestle everybody out there. but specifically, I would love to go against the Renegade Twins, Ashley D'Amboise. But yeah, at that higher level, I would love to go against Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, just everybody on the indies. And everybody who has a title, I'm coming for them.
Okay. Yeah, she coming out swinging. All right. Well, I hope you get that opportunity, and I know you're gonna be great and whatnot. And I can tell you, I hope you do get. You say you want to wrestle the world, but I hope you do get the chance to wrestle abroad. I was stationed in Japan for 3 years with the Navy, and I can tell you that I don't know if you've ever been to Japan yet, but if you have not, and you get bookings in Japan, take them with a smile and go and embrace the culture, because I can tell you right now, Japan is phenomenal. Japan is awesome, and I will be back. I can tell you right now, Tokyo is great, but Osaka's even better. I personally like Osaka better. And another thing, make sure when you go to Tokyo, make sure you get your Ribera Steakhouse jacket. Now, I don't know if you know about that, but that's like I guess an unofficial tradition, for lack of a better word. Or ritual where there's a steakhouse where wrestlers go, they dine, and then they get their jacket. I mean, people like Hulk Hogan has gotten it, John Cena, William Regal, many of the big names. So, and even indie stars too. So, definitely make sure you do that as well.
Yes, definitely. And like it's just even speaking with that, like just there's just wrestling is such a big world, and there's so much variety, whether it's like lucha or the UK scene or the Japan scene, like just so much knowledge and so many different styles that, I would just, because you even said that, and I was like, I would love to wrestle like Hikaru Shida. I would love to wrestle like Jamie Hayter, just like different people who have trained at different spots and things like that. But yes, I'll definitely keep that in mind for sure. Once I do get to Japan, because we're going to speak it into existence. Once I get there, most definitely, I'll go to that steakhouse.
Yeah. So another question I have is the treasure. So you say you were actual nurse, charge nurse, but where'd you get the treasure? How'd you get the nickname the Treasure Hunter?
That's a good question. So when I first got back into wrestling in 2018, there was just something about like so kind of stylizing after Laura Croft was where I had really first got the idea from, with like her leg bag. And when I used to wrestle, I would just wear like a wife beater and khakis and like the leg bag out to the ring. So the Treasure Hunter, it just kind of stuck out to me. So I would also play Uncharted and Nathan Drake, like from the Uncharted series and things like that. But getting back into wrestling, one of the huge instrumental parts that got me back into it, just this past year in 2021, when I decided to take a chance and go to the Nightmare Factory, I was talking to my therapist about it. And my therapist has helped me so much. And she was like, the Treasure Hunter fits you so well because you're hunting for that treasure of fulfillment. So like for so long, like I said, I didn't have a passion. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew it wasn't nursing, but I knew it was, there's just something else out there. And it's like, well, finally I found it, wrestling. So it's full circle that I've been hunting for the treasure of love and the treasure of fulfillment and the treasure of passion. The treasure that I'm hunting for is wrestling, but also the treasure that I'm hunting for is the title. I'm hunting for that gold championship belt, you know, I'm hunting for the treasure of being in the Hall of Fame, like making my impact and things like that. But also personal wise, just hunting for that treasure of, you know, finding out who I am and finding out what it is that like sets my soul on fire, and then finally finding it and saying, all right, let's go for it. So the treasure hunters initially, you know, that was what I just wanted to do. But we had a promo day at the Nightmare Factory, and Coach Cody was like, you've been a nurse and that's actual experience you've had. And he's like, you should use that because, you know, there's other nurses that wrestle as well, but they have different gimmicks. So it would, even though nursing wasn't my passion, I was like, well, yeah, I've had so much fun with the nursing persona with it, because I get to use all the knowledge I've gained from being a nurse. So I'm not taking all those years for granted, and I'm putting it into my wrestling world as well. And so I was just like, well, why choose one? I can be who I want to be. I can be the treasure hunter. I can be the charge nurse. I can be both. So yeah, but the treasure hunter part was just, even when I started, even before even thinking of it in the terms of hunting for the treasure of love, fulfillment, and things like that, that just kind of was like, that's what I want to do. I'm hunting for the gold, the championship belt. But then now also seeing it in the terms of treasure hunting, the treasure of wrestling, the treasure of my passion, the treasure of just being in that ring.
Awesome. And I got to say, in regards to nursing, you know, kudos on that, because I know I was a hospital corpsman in the U.S. Navy, and we work closely with nurses. I mean, we pretty much assist them with a lot of procedures and so on. And I can tell you, it is not easy. I've worked in the multi-service ward, and you got to be on your toes. There's not really any room for error, and you just gotta stay alert. And you know, a lot of times you gotta keep an alarm on. You're like, okay, I gotta check back with this person in like 20 minutes to make sure they're okay, or I gotta feed this person in like 30 minutes, you know, because, or I gotta get a special diet for this person because they can't eat just any type of food. So I know it's a lot that y'all, especially as a charge nurse, you know, I know that there's a lot that they deal with, and they're held accountable. So I tip my hat off to you. I tip my hat off if I had a hat on, but I figuratively tip my hat off to you. Rob will do it, yeah. For actually being successful at that, and you know, doing it for so long. Because I was like, wow, it couldn't be me, man. Yeah, that was an experience, one that I'll never forget, but a great one though. So
yeah, I tip my hat off to you as well for doing it. It's not for everybody, but you know, just for the fact that you did it as well, even like you working closely and doing those different things as well, and seeing that side, you know, it's not easy, like you said. So even just if it's a long time or a short time, you know, I tip my hat off to you as well.
yeah. So I just have, I think, one more question before I turn over to Rob. And my next question is, when you're working out, or you know, when you're at the gym getting ready to do some reps or do some cardio, or when you're getting ready for a match against your opponent, what are some songs that you like to listen to that get you into that mode to knock out those reps or knock out that cardio, or you know, get ready to face your opponents?
So I like songs that have like a nice like kind of like EDM, not EDM, but like electronic music that, you know, has like good beats and like high paced energy to get you going. But more recently, it's been a lot of like Megan Thee Stallion. It's been a lot of like Cardi B. It's been about of like ASAP Rocky or Migos or things like that. Like those are also like recently, so specifically like Migos. I've been listening to a lot of Migos in the gym, and especially in the terms of just facing your opponent, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B for sure, because just the confidence in their music, and that, you know, that tough energy about being, I'm that, you know, I'm not gonna cuss, but I'm that V word, you know what I mean? Just that fully feeling that when you're singing along to the song, or you're picturing yourself in the ring with that song in your mind. So Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B for sure have helped with that. And then also like Doja Cat, who I love Doja Cat. But yeah, so most of that recently, especially when it comes to getting my mindset prepared for being in the ring.
Yeah,
I like the question.
Whenever I go to gym, my playlist is all over the place. But for some reason, I could imagine you playing "I Like It Like That" by Cardi B, and you're remixing the song and saying, "I like clotheslines, I like lariats, I like knocking opponents down." And I can imagine you saying that for some
You got
reason. I don't
knocking
know.
down.
Yeah, but my playlist is normally like electronica too. Actually, there's a new song. I can't wait to actually work out to it. It's by, and he's not cutting me a check, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but there's a guy called Sick Ick Music. It's SICK, and he did one of the craziest mashups I've ever heard. He took into In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins
Yeah.
and Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. Mashed them up, and he has his own little Sick Ick has his own and he's a guy. He has on like he's like Marshmallow. You know, Marshmallow has a marshmallow mask. He has like a certain like I guess a dog like or cat like mask, and he's actually singing like a bit like his own original lyrics into that mashup. So I'm like,
Oh,
yo, that is crazy. I just found my new workout song.
yeah. I'm gonna check that out. Sick Ick. I like that. I like it like how you said when they combine two different songs and make just something new out of it. So I'm
Yeah,
just checking out Sick Ick.
I had one by another mashup I had was Craig. I don't know if you know who Craig David is, but Craig David is one of my favorite singers. And he had a song called Insomnia that he had. And then there was a Korean singer, a South Korean singer named Wee Sung, who actually sang it in Korean. And Craig David actually approved of that remix. And somebody took it and mashed it up together. So I'm like, whenever I work out at the gym, that's a song I have to play. Like I like, you can see I like working out to mashups as well too, because there's something about them.
Yeah,
But
it's different. It's different. It's not what you can just turn on the radio and hear. It's something unique and special. So it's really cool.
yeah, and generally, but my podcast is I always tell our guests like and everybody else I listen like if I were to be in charge of the Bluetooth in the gym, I'd probably get kicked out because my playlist is like all over the place. You might hear some Migos, Ric Flair drip. You might hear that. Then you'll probably hear some wrestler's entrance theme, and then it'll be like Carly Rae Jepsen, something by her, and then Hollywood Undead, and then maybe some Seven Dust, and then they're like, "Nah, dude, you gotta go. You got too much genres, and you're switching up too much."
No, that's the way to be. A little bit of everything, a little bit of everything. But also, like you mentioned, wrestlers' entrance themes are awesome too to work out for. It's just like a lot of different entrance themes for wrestlings. Like they create such a vibe. Like it creates like momentum with the different ways. Like the way they raise the music up in certain areas and things like that. And some like it just makes you feel powerful listening to some different intros.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's another great one to work out too.
yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob because I know Rob has some questions for you. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on? How are you doing today? How's your
Good,
day
good.
been?
I'm doing good. Happy to
Anything
be here.
exciting? Anything exciting happened today? Just normal day.
Just a lot of grocery shopping. Just a
See,
lot of grocery shopping. A lot of money. No, I'm just joking.
see,
But other than that, nothing too crazy. Just hanging out with my dog. I'm back here in Atlanta. I came back yesterday to Atlanta, so a lot of unpacking and getting settled and things like that.
see. I'm 40, and grocery shopping is one of my favorite things to do. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, I got presents. I got stuff for I can snack on. Yeah, so I love me some grocery shopping.
Right.
Even if I go over to my mom and dad's or whatever, and my mom's like, "Oh, I just, if I meet them there or whatever, we just got back from shopping." I'm like, "Oh, what y'all get? Oh man, y'all got some donuts, man. Can I grab one?" Yeah, I'm all like that. Brother, sister, same thing. Oh, we just got back shopping. What y'all got?
Oh, what's in there? What's in that bag? You gonna share?
They do the same thing to me. I mean, they come over or whatever, just open the fridge, be like, "Hey, yeah, what you got? Whatever you want, whatever you need, go hook it up." But don't make a big mess in the kitchen, though. If you do, you gotta clean it up. You know what I mean? Small
Just
stuff, I don't mind. I can do that. Small stuff, I'll be all right.
right.
Yeah, but don't be over there making lasagnas and baked Alaska, and there I am, like, what in the world?
We turned to a whole 4-course meal. I thought we were just sharing.
I know. Yeah. Now my sister, she did give me the she was at the grocery store and bought me the flaming hot macaroni and cheese or whatever. Like Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
That's the Chester Cheetah flaming hot one. Now I love that. I love those. The cheesy poos of that and stuff and all. But I haven't had it yet. I'm still looking at it like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like red mac and cheese. I'm like I don't know. She said it's good. She said it's real good. So I'm like,
One of those things you're just like, no, you have to let me know how it is. Because I've seen it in the store, but I haven't got it either. I was wondering what it tastes like.
She said it tastes just like if you're eating the crunchy or the poos or whatever. She said pretty much just like that. I was like, all right, but yeah, I'm like, I don't know, red mac and cheese though. It's like, man, I don't know. So,
Gotta be brave to try that.
I'm gonna try it this week probably. I'm gonna find something to make with it, make some chicken or something. But okay, let me try this out. Yeah, so if it's not good, I can be like, yeah, I'm good. You don't have to find me another one.
At least we tried it, right? Just we'll save that for later.
That's right. So when you were talking about being a treasure hunter and stuff, I had a question on there. If you found any treasure and asking about treasure hunting and stuff, and I'm sitting here thinking of because I'm into shows. I watch the shows like Expedition Unknown and all, where they like literally go out looking for treasure or whatever and all this stuff and all, and then. You gave me you gave that awesome answer, I'm on that, I do it for love and, all this stuff. And I was like, okay, well, that's awesome, so, man. So how did you get it? So, and then you were mentioning Laura Croft with it. So have you been in Laura Croft, your whole life, because I've always loved the Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, I've liked Laura Croft. So yeah, growing up, I remember playing like Tomb Raider on like the first PlayStation and things like that. But with that as well, like Laura Croft, she was just also really kind of like one of the first like badass women out there in the video game world. There have been other ones like Perfect Dark comes to mind, but there's been other female characters. But when you think like a badass female protagonist in a video game, Laura Croft is one of those first ones that come to mind. So kind of along with that, with being like a badass female wrestler, it's like, sometimes wrestling for sure has changed where there's definitely more women involved now, but it's been such a male dominated sport for a long time that people don't always think of women wrestlers. So kind of along with that, like Laura Croft, like, okay, like you think badass, just video game, like not even just gender. Laura Croft has like excelled gender when it comes to just being a wonderful like game series and main character in a game. So yeah, growing up, I played some Tomb Raider, but I would say more recently, sorry, I played a lot of Uncharted with like Nathan Drake and things like that as well. So the fact that he's also like a treasure hunter as well, kind of, it was like, oh, well, I can mix both of these together. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a PlayStation PS4 also with my Xbox One just so I can play the Spider-Man and Uncharted games and stuff.
Gotcha. Yes.
Oh yeah, Nathan Drake and all that. Yeah, I love those games too. Laura Croft, yeah. My dad, I remember he bought me. I think I got that for Christmas or whatever, for Tomb Raider or whatever. And I remember I loved that game. And there's a part in that game I remember I had to go to school like 2 or 3 days in a row asking somebody who beat it. How did you get past this part? And I was stuck in a thing with a dinosaur, with like a T-Rex, and I couldn't get around it. Couldn't find any way to go out. And I remember the dude literally got on opened a piece of paper, drew a map, wrote down step-by-step directions for me what to do, and I was like, okay, here we go. Yes, now we got it and all. For a couple days, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to find. Remember, he said, go over here, do that. I'm like, I can't find it.
I know the level that you're Google. Exactly.
Yeah, this is before Google. It's like, oh.
Before you had cheat codes that you could just Google, like, wait, how do I get past this level? But that's awesome. He wrote it down for you, so you had your own cheat code. He said, here's the map.
Yeah. Oh man, he was awesome. He was the one who got me into anime. His mom and dad, they were like rich, and he had like the Atari Jaguar. He had the 3DO. He had Super Nintendo, Sega. He had everything. You come in, we're like, all right, man. Word up. And he loved to help out, man. So it was pretty cool.
That's kind of along those same lines too. I was playing The Last of Us. And there was just like a level that like I could not beat. I put the game on easy mode, and it was just so funny because like how I said, I grew up watching wrestling with my brother, and we would play WCW NWO Revenge. Like I had to go to my brother. I was like, listen, I can't beat this level. And this is what, like 2014 when cheats existed, and I still had to call in my older brother to beat levels for me. So
that's funny.
That reminds me.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and Last of Us, yeah, I like that game. I haven't played the second one, but the end of that first one, man, I was like, ooh, man, that really gets you. It's like, what would you do? Like,
right.
Save the world, or spoiler alert, it's a 10-year-old game or whatever, but it was a real good game. I'm actually looking forward to this month. Evil Dead games coming out where you can it's kind of like Friday the 13th where you could be a Deadite and you're out taking people out, or you could be like Ash or any of the characters from the Evil Dead movies. You're trying to take the Deadites out and all that. So kind of waiting on that one. That one seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know a new one was coming out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have that Predator one for PlayStation though, but yeah, I heard it was pretty good. But I got Jason Voorhees though. Yeah, I had to get that one. Love my Jason. So I do got to ask, traveling around, you said, before you got to Atlanta and stuff, you travel around, from, Indiana to Ohio and all that good stuff and all. Now, do you have any funny travel stories that have happened to you on the way, doing all that traveling? Like, have you ever come across, Bigfoot or, some, something crazy, supernatural stuff like that, anything crazy?
Actually, nothing too crazy. Just, specifically in Hamilton, Ohio, there's it's a really big grocery store that also, I can't think of the name of it, like Jungle George's or Jungle Jim's or something, but it's like an international grocery store, but it's huge. And it pretty much is like its own theme park. Like it just has like these huge mascots. It has these huge different displays and it's international. So each country has like a different, like it's a Small World and like grocery store version. So,
oh, wow.
So nothing like that, but or nothing too crazy, but just something like that. Like, like how certain cities just have their own, like, little crazy like stores and stuff like that like you just like might want to pop by and see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Like y'all have that there's roadside attractions like the world's biggest ball of yarn or like stuff like that.
Yeah, one time I went to go visit my friend when she was in Kentucky, and we were driving up to wrestling class, which is in Ohio. So on the way there, it was like Noah's Ark. So there was an area like where you could pull off, and they had like a huge like replica of like Noah's Ark, and in it they had like the animals on the ark, but they also had dinosaurs on there as well and stuff too.
That's cool.
Just things. I haven't seen Bigfoot yet though. He's still hiding from me. He's hard to catch.
I know, yeah, because I see these things all the time. Bigfoot and all. See, what concerns me about that is I think Bigfoot is really blurry, and the pictures that people take, are just clear 1080 4K photos of Bigfoot, and that's really scaring me. Is there's a blurry giant hairy monster roaming the countryside somewhere? Just oh man, I don't know about all that.
That's true. That's even scarier. Just something that's blurry every time you see it.
Yeah, you're just like you try to tell people, like okay, yeah, whatever, dude. For real, I did. Here's a picture. Okay, yeah. Oh man,
scary stuff. Scary stuff.
That's right. So. Training at the Nightmare Factory, like what was some of the best advice that you got? Was there any advice that stuck out to you, or was or were you just like there, like I got all this, I'm taking everything you say, doing what you say, bam, bam, bam,
I would say so. One of our coaches is Coach Glacier, Glacier from WCW, Ray Lloyd. Coach Glacier, just learning from him, his passion for professional wrestling is just amazing. And all the stories that he shared with us and just his wisdom and his insights on everything have been so monumental. Honestly, one of the most parts that I truly appreciate about that class was learning from him. But it's just something that's so simple. He told us, write down everything Like, we'll he said, like, just write down everything. He said, like, have 5 notebooks, have one for the car, have one for the bathroom, have one for your travel case, have one next to the bed, just for different ideas that come into your head. But just writing down everything I've learned in the class is one of those things where when they tell you it, you might think, oh, okay, sure, that makes sense. Or like, oh, okay, I'll remember it. But it's when you write it down, you might come back 5 years later and see it in a completely different light. Especially for us, like as beginners, we might think we know what you're trying to say, like somebody who's been in the business for a long time, like we might think we understand the gist of it, but then once you go through it and you have more experiences and you come back to what it was that you wrote down initially, it's like, oh, it like opens it up to a new light. So I would definitely say one of the best pieces of advice I got from them is just writing down everything that you learn. Yeah, I would just say writing everything down and everything like that. But I've learned so much and constantly am just learning and growing from all the different things they teach us and everything like that.
See, I like hearing that because I do training and stuff too, well, not for wrestling, I do ref and, ring announcing and all that stuff. And yeah, I got a notebook, that there's something, like, learning or whatever. Oh, I ain't learned. I didn't know about that yet. I'm writing it down or whatever, so I can go back later on and be like, damn, okay, here we go. This is what we can do. Okay, yeah, damn. Yeah. So I love that. I love when people, are like, I'm like, oh, at least I'm not the only one, who's out there with a, over here like this, like,
Right. Sometimes, because even after our even after like our matches, or even after like when we practice at the Nightmare Factory, like we would have matches with each other, but then like other people have matches, and they want everybody to pay attention to everybody else's matches going on, and they're like, listen to the critiques and what we have to say for everybody's matches, even if it's not your own. So I feel that same way, like sometimes like it can be me, like maybe a couple other people, but we're there like writing it down, but it's like you feel like a nerd, not a nerd, but you're probably like, or you don't want to upset the other person. Like, why are they writing stuff down about my match? It was my match. But there's just something to learn from every different thing and every different aspect and everything like that. So yeah, writing everything down it's huge, and it's helpful, and it's so great to just go back on and look at. And even if it's something that I can't even foresee it not being, but even if it's something I wouldn't use in the future, it's just a great look at where I've been. You know what I mean? Like, I remember that day. I remember the day we did that. It's memories. It's recording your memories too. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I was when I ref a match or whatever, I write down every match I ref and who won it or whatever. And when I ring announce, I write down everybody who I announced, where their stats and all that. So if I come across them again, I can just be like, hey, is everything the same? You still from here? Height, weight, this, that, and the other. Like, all right, good to go. I mean, damn.
Right.
But yeah, I remember doing the ref thing. I remember somebody came up to me and were like, "You're writing your stuff down? Like, why are you writing it down? Does it help you out?" So I was like, "Well, I have a bad memory. See, in 5-10 years or whatever, I want to go through and be like, oh, I remember that match, and I remember bam, 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 like that." He's like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "Well, I got a good memory," and all. I was like, "Oh, hey, that's all on you." I mean, I gotta write stuff down. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I forget.
I agree. You might think you remember it, but it's just. It never hurts having it, written down as well, for sure. I know,
Like
same here, I know I have a bad memory. I might remember it for 2 or 3 days, and then I'll be like, wait, what happened?
It's like going to the grocery store. It's like, yeah, I need to get this, that, and the other, and you go in there, you're like, oh man, oh man, oh no, this is messed up. So yeah, I write everything down.
You leave and like you get back to your house or your apartment, and you're like, I forgot that, because it's like I didn't write it down. I didn't write down that I need it, or like you're unpacking the groceries you did get, and you're like, I forgot that one thing, but I didn't put it on my list.
Mm-hmm. I had 3 dogs. I had 3 beagles and stuff. As long as I make sure they're all right, I'm good to go. They won't take me out. So as long as I got their food and their treats, they're good to go.
You guys are on good terms. As long as you got their treats, you're on good terms. They'll let you stay.
That's right. Yeah, I also feed them. I give them green beans. I give them a can of green beans along with their food in the morning and stuff, so it fills them up, but doesn't get them plumper or whatever. I don't have any plump beagles. My beagles, they're kind of slim or whatever. They get into stuff, but they're not the waddling around or whatever.
No, dogs are such. My dog is my best friend. And like somehow I want to incorporate him into my wrestling as well, because he's such a good looking dog too. That I'm like, if I can't get over, my dog will get over. So I'm gonna use his traction to help me.
That's right.
What kind is he?
He's an Australian Shepherd. Come here, Leo. Leo, come here.
Oh, nice.
He's an Australian Shepherd. His name is Leo.
My dogs. Yeah, they're out in the living room and stuff and laying down. Good. Yeah. Sometimes Lucy and all, they'll barge in. Oh, look at the hound.
Say hey.
You got a wild boy there, man. What?
But yes, he's very cute. He I did like a photo shoot, and I had him in some of my photos with me also. So kind of like how Coach Cody Rhodes, he loves to bring Pharaoh out with him for different things as well. So I'm like, yeah, he's my best friend.
Yep, might as well. I've been trying to do that. Take the dogs to the show. I'm like, man, how can I, bring them to the show? Can they be, support beagles or whatever, because
Right. Let me let them in. They need to be here with me.
One of the first shows, I was like, security and stuff and all. I'm sitting there doing security. I'm inside the ring, and the promoter was like, "Hey, switch with I forget the dude's name. Switch with him, because I'm going to have you go in the back and do backstage interviews for us, And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. So I go back there, switch with the dude, and he's standing there, and there was some lady sitting there with a dog, and I was like, oh yeah, look at the dog. We started sitting there for like 10, 20 minutes just talking about the dog. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I thought we were supposed to switch. I'm talking to the dog. He's like, no, man, we got people in the back waiting for us. Oh, my bad. All right, I'm on my way. Like, the dog does it again. You know what I mean? I can't help myself. I'm like, oh, look at the dog. Can I pet it? You know?
Then I say all the time too, like I was like, like we try to train our dogs, but my dog's got me trained. Like I'm his professional dog walker. I'm his chef. Mm-hmm. He's the one that wakes me up in the morning to let me up, like when it's time to go out and things like that. So we might think we're training them, but they got us trained. Like how you said, as long as you go to the grocery store and get the stuff for your beagles, then you're on good terms,
Yeah, Lucy, she's got to go outside, use the restroom or whatever. Like I'm sitting in the chair, I could be in the living room, bedroom, just watching TV or something. She'll come up, walk right up in front of me, and just sit there, just stare at me. So I'm like, all right, you gotta go. All right, she's gotta go. So I go take her out or whatever. Anything other, unless I'm eating, But if I'm just sitting there, just hanging out, she walks up to me, just staring at me like that. Come on, let's go. I'm like, all right, let's get y'all out. Let's get y'all out.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
That's right. So, do you have any? Your training is still at the Nightmare Factory and all. Do you have any shows lined up, or are you in talks with anybody, or
nothing like lined up as of right now? Nothing at the moment lined up, but hopefully now that I've had the photo shoot that I had this weekend, like I said, like now I can at least reach out to promoters and say this is what I look like, and especially once the showcase is published, I think that I'm super excited for the showcase to be. Because it'll help, I'll have something on my tapes to show promoters, hey, this is what I've done and things like that. But I'm just also excited to have it published as well, because it was just a fun time. But yeah, as of right now, nothing lined up, but definitely looking and hoping to get something booked soon. Because it's kind of one of those things too, where I was nervous about coming onto this show. Well, not necessarily nervous, but I was just I haven't had experience yet. Are you sure you want me? So in my mind too, I was well, I want to do some more training before getting bookings and stuff like that. But you have to have a start. So I was in that mindset initially, even just 2 weeks ago after the showcase, but now I'm no, let me out there. Let me get in the ring. I might not, the more reps I have, the better it's going to get. Progress is a process. So yes, now I'm definitely more open to reaching out and trying to get different things booked and things like that. So nothing lined up just yet, but stay tuned. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you can get up with CCW or whatever, because they're over here in Delaware with me. Because I work for 1CW, CCW. Well, 1CW, I'm ref, ring announcer. CCW, I'm dude in the back. You know what I mean? Because we share a locker room and all. Because I hang out. Everybody you mentioned, Kayla Spark, Kylan King, Renegade Twins. I work with all of them. I see them every month. You know what I mean? We're hanging out. Having a blast. Man, they're so awesome. So awesome. Hopefully one day, I can get you. We can get you up there, up here.
I would love to. I would love to wrestle for them. I would love that. That'd be amazing. Yes. That's so
Plus
cool.
We're on local TV. Plus we're on local regional TV. Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, maybe a little Jersey and Pennsylvania too. You see this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we got a little thing going. So trying to.
Yeah, making it a nationwide thing, because I know you guys like that CCW. They have a huge online following as well. But it can be hard to do either or. It can be hard to get the kind of more regional or just getting your name out there without social media, or people just in the region know of you, and then it's hard to get yourself out there to social media for the rest of the world. But CCW, yeah, you guys have both. You guys have a big online influence, and then also people in the area. And how you said, you're on TV in all those different areas. That's what's up. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, Marcello, man, he does his thing with them, man, with everything up there, just tearing it up. That's right. Same with Sean Hardy, Sean Carlson from 1CW, man. They be tearing it up, doing the thing, man. Oh,
put it in. I'm
excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where everything leads to. You know what I mean? So yeah. Awesome. Now I do want to ask, before I pass it on back to Remy and stuff. I'm somebody. I always try to look for new movies and TV shows to watch, but I always get stuck watching the same stuff, comfort shows. I just put in the background or whatever, just go do whatever around the house. Now, what's something that are there anything new that you're watching? Any new movies, TV shows, or or what are your comfort shows that you watch?
Okay, because I was gonna say I'm that same way where I try to find a new show, but and also too, that's kind of why wrestling just kind of worked, because I'll try to find a new show or a new movie and I'll put it on, or I'll just get distracted. I'll find something on my phone and just stop paying attention, which is why wrestling is so perfect. Because like you just put on like a wrestling show, and you might not be paying full attention, but something will happen, or a certain match will catch your eye, and you're like, oh. But I would say my comfort shows are Catfish and Cheaters.
Okay.
I love Catfish and Cheaters. Those two shows are awesome.
I like Cheaters too. Cheaters. I haven't seen it in years. I haven't. I gotta find that. But I had an ex-girlfriend. We would just watch that and just laugh and just. I had the best time watching it. It's like.
So it comes on like VH1 on Sunday mornings, like Sunday mornings of all times, like Sundays before.
They got
Catfish and Cheaters are two shows I could just watch all the time. But I like I like Adult Swim. Like I love adult animation and things like that. And Adult Swim's always coming out with like new crazy stuff, and like the Eric Andre show and Aqua Teen Hunger Force and things like that. But I would definitely say more so recently, Catfish and Cheaters are my comfort shows.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't gonna hate. Cheaters. If there's an episode of Cheaters on, I'll definitely stop and watch it till at least the commercial break or whatever.
You know what? Not saying it. There's no shame. That's like. They're investigative documentaries. It's how people like murder documentaries and stuff. They're investigative documentaries. They're trying to find the source behind something that's happening.
Pretty much, except it's not like a murder. It's somebody cheating. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
Sometimes I'll watch. I'm like, they really got in that person's house with a microphone and a camera up in there. It's like, what? And then they go, oh man, I didn't do it. Well, here's videos. Like. Oh man!
They get caught and they're like, "Oh, that's Photoshop." Oh
yeah,
no, she's just a good friend. Like, bro, you've been caught.
Y'all ever think Cheaters is like real though? Because if you really look at it, like, I mean, I'm not knocking it. I find it hilarious. I mean, now you got Peter Guns as the host, but it's like you find your girl or guy. And you pull up on the person you pull up on your girl or guy, and the person that they're cheating on you with, but nobody actually like throws hands. It's all like headlocks. I'm like, what am I watching? What are they wrestling, or are they? I mean, if the average person is like mad, like, oh yeah, I got you, and then they're like, but it's like the minute they walk up, headlock. I'm like. Jeez, I mean, if you want to wrestle, I mean, just say so, man. I mean, what are y'all trained to be wrestlers or something? Like,
that's a perfect idea. There should be a show that's a hybrid of cheaters and wrestling, where you catch up on the person who's cheating on you, and then you're just like, well, we have a ring in the back, so you just put them both in a ring and just let them go at each other. But I get what you're saying. Sometimes, some circumstances, it's like, I don't know how real this is. I don't know if it's been staged or whatever. And sometimes it gets a little crazy, but it's still just funny to watch.
Yeah, I think some of it is, but I do think some of it is like a group of friends got on there. It's like, hey, let's do this, that, and the other. True. I know we had a guest on here. Oh man, who I can't remember, Rennie. It was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Not only was he wrestling, but he went on Jerry Springer also. And it was like my girlfriend cheated on me with a porn star, and he didn't meet the two girls until like 20 minutes before they were supposed to go out for their shows, before they, could do their story and all that and stuff. He told us, that's what they do. But he's like, man, they work hard, they do their thing and all that. But yeah, a lot of it, it's like that. So
right. How real is this? But entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's for the shock value of entertainment. It's like, wow, look at this idiot right here. Oh my God, look at this person.
I think you're talking about Poker Face, because Poker Face. That's the only one that comes to mind. He actually was on. I remember actually seeing that.
Was it Steve? Oh man, what's his last name? I have to go back in my notebook or whatever, man. It's in there somewhere, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it was like 2-3 years ago or whatever. I remember him telling us that, and I was like, oh, okay, man. You did like 20 minutes before the show. Like, really, man? All right. I figured they give you a little more time. I figured they give you like an hour or two, like get your story straight. Like, yeah, we're gonna do this. All right. But I guess that's what the wrestling does, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, hey, bam, somebody's hurt, somebody comes in, it's like, oh, we got like 5 minutes, what we want to do? Bam, 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 or we got to do it in the ring, So.
That's true too, right? Thinking on your toes and stuff. But yeah, agreed. 20 minutes, all right, get the story down, and then we're going live. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember like, woo, all right, yeah, okay. Yeah. But before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule, coming on chat with us. Definitely had a blast. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you start traveling soon. Start doing your treasure hunting, collecting all that gold all around the country, doing your thing, kicking butt, taking names, all that good stuff.
Yes, no, thank you. Like, I've had a blast with this as well, and I would love to come back on your show one day. Maybe after I get a championship belt, I'll come on the show and show it and be like, I got the treasure babies. But yeah, no,
right.
I've had a great time. This is awesome. But yeah,
remember that.
We're talking about video games and everything.
We've had people back on the show before several times, so yeah, we're very open to have you back on. With the championship and with the championship we won and so on. I'd be like, "Where's the treasure? Oh, you got it! Awesome!
Right here,
baby. What's the achievement unlocked?"
Oh wait, hold on 1 second. I was going to say I see a question in the thing. If you want me to ask it.
Yeah.
From Amanda Hart. Yeah, here you go. She was like, "What are some of the challenges you face as a female wrestler?"
I would say challenges facing as a female wrestler. It's not even so challenges as a female wrestler, and I've even heard this going to different promotions, and this is just wrestling in general. But I've heard them say I've heard different promotions say that like their audience wants female wrestlers that look a certain way. And if you don't fit that certain way, then they feel like the audience won't, care about them. So that might make it harder to get booked. And then also I would just say natural athleticism. Some women definitely have it. I don't, but some women definitely have natural athleticism where they can do certain things. And sometimes it just takes a little bit more to learn and get there. So sometimes it feels like with women's wrestling that people don't take it as seriously because of those things as well. People don't take women's wrestling as seriously because they might just watch it and say, "Oh, that was good for a women's match." Like, no, I don't want that. I want you to say that's good, not just because it's a women's match. I don't want you to say like, "Oh, okay, well, they're female, so I guess that was okay." Or I want you to say like, "Oh, like, yeah, these are two hot people facing each other. That's what I'm interested in." No, I want you to be invested in what the story that's going on in the ring, the story we're trying to tell and things like that. So I would say challenges as a female wrestler is breaking the mode from just like the stereotypical, like just hot wrestler that people want to see, or also just trying to prove yourself that, hey, like I have something to offer. Just because I'm a female wrestler doesn't mean that it's a bathroom break or that I'm just going to do some simple moves. No, I want you to watch it. And at the same time, I want you to be honest. If it could have been better, let me know it could be better and things like that as well. I would say those are some of the challenges so far that I've come across. But I've been so new to as well that I'm sure there's many out there that I will find out. But yes. You're on mute, Remy.
Oh, you're on mute, man, Remy.
Yeah, I gotta be a damn fool if I ever did that. Actually, take a bathroom break during a female wrestling match. I never did, honestly speaking, as much. And I'm probably gonna get roasted by this. I'm probably gonna have some female fans say, "Remy, you ain't ish. How you gonna say you didn't?" I did not like the wrestling, the Divas division, because I felt that it was based mostly on looks.
Mm-hmm.
And I always said Vince looked into a modeling catalog and said, "Hey, you're beautiful. You could be my champion." And I'm not knocking those that actually look like that, but at the same time, it's like, no. If a female can wrestle, it doesn't matter how she looks. Put her on there. Yeah. I mean, I know there's with WWE there's marketing, and I'm so glad they got rid of that Divas name, because now it's just women's wrestling.
I agree. I feel like the four horsewomen of NXT, like I feel that, and they're not like same here, like not knocking anybody who's like been there before, like how they of course had some why can't I think of Gail Kim? Like Gail Kim's a phenomenal wrestler and she was part of the women's division, Divas division. Mickey James, Trish Stratus, Lita, and like not knocking like any of the other ones. I won't say their names, but ones who obviously just kind of started off as models. At the same time too, like so before sometimes I would watch wrestling the same way and be like, oh well, these are just models that they've trained, or these are people who didn't even grow up with wrestling. Like, why are they getting this opportunity? But then at the same time too, it's like, even if they didn't grow up with wrestling, they're still putting their bodies on the line, like they're still putting their bodies at risk every time they step in that ring. But back to what you were saying, I agree. Just like with the women's division, with the four horsewomen, with Becky Lynch and Sasha and Bayley and Charlotte Flair, it's just created, and it's not even created, it put a spotlight on women's wrestling in a different way. There's been phenomenal women wrestling before WWE put it on the spotlight, for sure. There's always been phenomenal female wrestling out there. It's just that the four horsewomen especially kind of helped put a spotlight on that. and kind of gave all those hardworking female indie wrestlers and people like female wrestlers who've been doing this for years, Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida and people, and Serena Deeb, phenomenal women's wrestlers who have been putting on phenomenal matches. It's like saying, oh, here's the spotlight for them. And back to that question that Brian Rosa asked, who I would like to face. I would also love to face Serena Deeb. Ooh, I would love that. I just came to mind. But yes. I agree with that. Getting rid of kind of that kind of divas thing. And like how you said, just that name, divas, like, you know, it's women's wrestling. It's women from all different backgrounds, shapes, sizes, different characteristics, personas, not just, you know, slim, trim, blonde, beautiful, good looking women. There's more out there too. And putting even there, if they are slim, trim, and blonde and beautiful, which there are many that are also athletic and phenomenal wrestlers, giving them the title diva doesn't really cover how great of wrestlers they are. Diva so much it kind of like, you know, blends more towards their looks versus what they're actually able to do, and all like the athleticism and great traits that they have as well. So I agree with you on that. I agree.
Yeah, you're on mute again, Remy.
So Amanda Hart, Amanda, you're lucky I'm in a generous mood today. So she has one last question. I know me allow one per fan, but okay. She has one last question. In your opinion, do you think a female's appearance weighs more than her skills in the ring?
No. So I mean, I would say that in the past it has. I would say that for certain promotions that, you know, it seems that way as well. And I would say that that's something for me as well. Like, you know, kind of getting back into wrestling, like not many people look like me on TV. Like, am I going to be able to do this? But I would say like nowadays, like I would say your skills in the ring are the proof in the pudding. You can look as good as you want on a poster, but like if you get into that ring and like you look beautiful, but you know, you don't know what you're doing, or it's obvious that you haven't put in the work and you're not training, the audience will tell. So even if the audience is enjoying looking at you physically, they want to be entertained. They want to see a good wrestling match. They want to see a match with some good skills. So I would say that the in-ring skills weigh more, because even if you don't have that look necessarily at the start, when you come out in the ring, they might see you and they might be like, I don't know. But once you get in the ring and then you're able to show your skills and you're able to show them what you're made of, then they get behind you and they're like, oh. And I think in those cases too, like it can pleasantly surprise an audience and actually get you more traction. So I would say in-ring skills definitely way more nowadays. Physical appearance might have been bigger back in like the 90s and things like that, but I would say nowadays in-ring skills is where it is, because that's what the audience wants to see. The audience wants to see talented wrestlers who are able to entertain them and put on a great story. And so, yeah, I would say especially with how the world is today being like more welcome and accepting and opening in certain directions, I would say, yeah, your in-ring talent will get you through more, because you can't judge a book based off a cover. You might, like I said, you might come down to the ring and look a certain way, but then once the action starts, once they ring that bell and then you show them in the ring what you're made of, then it's something totally different. And that's kind of what gets the crowd behind you.
Awesome. So Amanda, you got your question. Hope everything's going well.
Thank you.
You got your answer.
Thank you, Amanda.
And hope everything's going great over there in Gainesville as well. I miss me some Florida. But I just got to say, Ryan, it's been an honor and a pleasure to talk to you. It's always great to talk to somebody from Nightmare Factory. We got a lot more coming up. I think we got a couple people from still from Class 3. So we're getting up there. We're almost done with Class 3. Then we're gonna hit Class 4, Class 5, and then some of your classmates are gonna see themselves on there too. So
yeah,
you know,
thank you so much for giving us this platform. Thank you so much for giving us this platform and just being so welcoming. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Hey, we're for everybody, man. I mean, it doesn't matter what walk of life, man. As long as you're not a dirtbag, we're good. I mean, we can, you know, we. And the thing that I pride us on is that we are not just for wrestlers. We're for promoters. We're for referees. I mean, come on. My own partner / co-host here, you know, my tag team partner on this podcast is actually a referee. So why wouldn't I want to have his fellow brothers in the stripes here as well? And speaking of which, speaking of referees, for those of y'all don't know, we actually have a special shirt for the referees coming out real soon. We hope y'all like it. It's going to be something unique. But Ryan, thank you very much. It's an honor talking to you, and we wish you nothing but the absolute best. I look forward to seeing you all over the place. You already got Brian Rose's eyes on you, and I'm pretty sure CCW's watching as well too, up in Delaware. So we look forward to seeing you in those places, and heck, maybe even in our good friend at our good friends promotion, Scott Bruce, his promotion VWR. We hope Vixen Wrestling Revolution. We hope to see you there as well. We just wish the best for you, and just best believe when I see you on AEW or when I see you on WB, I'm definitely gonna hit up Rob. Like, Rob, you're on TV. Look who's on TV. We just had her on the show, bro.
Yeah. No, when I get there, I mean, like, I'm giving you guys a shout out. I mean, like, I'm gonna give a shout out. Ringside Society were the first to ever have me on a podcast, man. Like the first that gave me this opportunity. So no, like I'm super appreciative of this. This has been just fun. I've had a lot of fun, and yeah. And can I take can I take a selfie of us all? I'm not. It's like I'm gonna take a picture with my phone of all of us, and I'm gonna post it.
Let me see if I. Let me see. I'm trying to look at the Rock.
All right.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
You smell okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna post this because this has just been phenomenal. This has been great.
Yeah. So before we shut down the showdown, we just gotta ask: where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next promotion, when your next appearance is? My apologies. When your next appearance is, when they want to purchase, Ryan Hawthorne merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Awesome. Yes, awesome. So both my Instagram and Twitter handles are Ryan Hawthorne. So my name, Ryan Hawthorne, with an X at the end. So that's Ryan Hawthorne X for my wrestling or for my Twitter, and then also for my Instagram page. And then for emailing, for bookings, it's Ryan Hawthorne Wrestling at gmail.com. So just Ryan Hawthorne Wrestling, no spaces, all spelled, normal spelling at gmail.com. And then stay tuned for a website because I'm working on a logo. So keep up with my social media, especially my Instagram. And then on that, I'll update when I have my website and like my logos and merch and things like that. So yes, stay tuned for what's coming on.
That's cool. You got X. They got X at the end of your handle. I'd be like, if I X at the end of mine, they'd be like, yo, what's your Twitter handle? Remy Blue. What's that stand for? Man, what this stands for? Well, what kind of FM? Nah, man, X, man. Are you from the BX? Nah, X.
X.
No,
I got
never mind, man. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all follow this incredible woman. She's doing great things in professional wrestling. She's gonna do even more greater things. I mean, now that she's graduated from Nightmare Factory, you're gonna see a lot of her. So make sure you follow her now. Check out her website when it launches, and also, I always stress this: make sure if you can't make her shows, make sure you cop some of her merch, because when she gets famous and she gets signed WWE or Impact or AEW or any other big leagues, and somebody say, look, I got the Ryan Hawthorne shirt from the AEW or WWE website or whatever promotion website. I'm like, oh yeah, I got the one when she was on the Indies, man. I'm a real fan. This is somebody else's shirt. This is a JC Storm shirt, who's another great athlete. But it's always a great feeling knowing that you were supporting somebody from the beginning of their career. It's always great. So make sure you follow this woman and support indie wrestling. That's where 95% of your AEW, WWE superstars, Impact superstars come from. So make sure, and there's a lot of moments that you see in indie wrestling as well. So make sure you're supporting as well. If you don't support, I keep telling you, we're gonna have Rob Bass break into your house and eat all your food. That means when you go into your pot, you're gonna see a skipping rope. That means you gotta skip that meal because Rob done ate all your pasta, your rice, your steak and everything. He'll do it to you. See how he's skinny, So make sure you actually support indie wrestling.
That's right. He's going to bring the Beagles with him too. It's going to be him and all three Beagles pulling up. So you got to watch out.
They're bottomless pits. They can eat till whatever, you know what I mean? So, you're done.
Yes.
Kitchen's going to be spotless when you wake up. Nothing left.
Yes. If you don't want that, make sure you support indie wrestling as well. It's a great feeling. But with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. It's been great, but my eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for a nap. and a snack. Maybe not in that order, but who knows? But before I indulge in those activities, Rob Bass, my brother from another mother, the Tommy to my Ghost, the Eminem to my Royster 5'9", and Bubba Ray to my Devon. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out where your next appearances, purchase Rob Bass merchandise? And where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book the greatest thing on God's green earth for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, Rob_Base82, and then Facebook, YouTube, Rob Base.
Cool. And if you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything interesting to say, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky and hear me say something one day. You can find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Instagram at the Remy Blue as well. And you can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. So you can find me on there. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're still on Blog Talk. Don't know why we're still on Blog Talk, but hey, it is what it is. We're on Spotify. My bad, Blog Talk. I'm just messing with y'all. We're on Spotify, and we also have a Facebook group and also a YouTube channel, which is where we have a lot of our content, and a lot of interesting interviews like this one, like our one recently with Gaston from Class 3, and also Katie Hebner, Undeniable Michael Martinez, The Assassin AK-47, and many other great people from the Nightmare Factory, and also many other great men and women from all over the wrestling industry. So go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. When you see that sweet OMG dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all of our videos because you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. And with that being said, we also have a Teespring store where we also sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops for the summer, we have long sleeve shirts, we have hoodies, we even have coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So make sure you check out our merchandise website, cop some merch. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. And like I said, we also have new designs coming. Our next one is going to be is a dedication, pretty much a dedication towards the refs, because the referees are an important part of business too. With that being said, just definitely check. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. With that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. We really should appreciate it. We try our best to bring you some of the best wrestling content a wrestling fan can see. And we pride ourselves on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan should listen to. To those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. But with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag, we are not the same. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the Nightmare Factory Class 6. Throwing up them threes like we rep in Boston, but we ain't. And one time for the charge nurse, the treasure hunter, Ryan Hawthorne. I just had to do it, man. Had to do it. Woo!
Next, baby, Ryan Hawthorne X. Let's do it.
What kind of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And we will be back tomorrow with another impressive episode with another impressive guest. But until then, we just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.